Police are looking for 3 people, at least one of them caught on surveillance video, firing a barrage of bullets into a car and killing a man. Police marked off at least half a dozen rounds. The shooting killed a passenger and injured another man, both young Asian men. But the driver survived and is offering clues to this deadly shooting.
He is cooperating with us and assisting us in every way he can.
The Sapphire shooting is the latest in a long line of bar and club shootings. James Lozada, Channel 13, Action News.
Where's Brian? Zeus, where's Brian? Where? Oh, Baguio. Listen really carefully to this, because this is what your defense is about. It's the defendant Vega's position that when the Range Rover returned to the parking lot and drove toward the defendants in the manner in which it did, window down, high rate of speed, quick stop, weapons in view. A reasonable person in the defendant's position, considering the totality of the circumstances known to and believed by him, would believe that they were in danger of imminent death or great bodily harm.
We are saying that they were the aggressors. They placed us in a reasonable fear of great bodily harm or death. The state's position is going to be, I assume, that these guys were not the aggressors.
This is industrial, going, what, north, south, right?
This would be north.
South, okay. Okay, terrible with directions. So when you got, and there's only one way in and out of this parking lot?
No, there's 2.
This one?
This is the light.
This one.
And there's one down here. Okay.
This is the light.
So what happened is the Range Rover was going out. They're coming this way. Now our 2 defendants plus a girl are leaving Sapphires. They're walking towards their car like this. They came this way, and we've got video surveillance of the parking lot, and they look to be more in the middle. I would put them dead center, to be quite honest.
They're basically in the way,
They're in the way of the Range Rover.
They're looking
okay?
for trouble.
I don't know if they're looking for trouble, but they're in the way of the Range Rover.
Clearly.
The defendants probably perceive it like this car's running us over, and the car perceives it like these people aren't moving out of our way. I think the words that were exchanged were like, "Get the fuck out of our way," or something along those lines. I might do that too. It annoys me when I'm driving down a lane and people don't get out of your way when they see a car coming. The Range Rover was going out, basically. So they're over here waiting for the light. There's a light here that you have to wait for. You can't just exit right away. So they say one of the 2 defendants wave them back, like, come on back kind of thing. So they say they're coming back thinking they're going to go to a fist fight.
So they were calling them out, basically.
Basically. So they come back, and as they're coming back now, they roll up and they get shot. So let me ask you this. So somebody exchanges words with you, and you know that they're coming back in their car. You're going to go get your gun and get ready, even though...
They said, I'm going to come kill you, I'm going to.
Okay, but we don't know that that was said.
Speaking outside the box.
Right.
If I think my life is threatened, based on training where your gun is, you know, get your gun out. You're not going to stand up so your head can get shot.
Right.
Because you don't know what's going on. I'm going to tuck in so I don't get shot.
Right.
And be ready. I'm not going to stick myself out there to get hit. But
No, and that...
or you can come out
Right.
and stabilize yourself as well. And then try not to hurt your case, but I'm...
No,
You can hip shoot. If you're moving quick, you can hip shoot. I don't think it's hip shooting because that's pretty good shooting.
Right.
Yeah,
So
we do have one that's trained, the Marine.
And that's the one who we think was the one doing the shooting.
Right.
So this is what I'm getting at. This is not hurting our case. In my opinion, this is helping our case, because this tells me that you're not defending yourself. This tells me that he's lying in wait. He knows the car's coming back. He's already ready to shoot. Like, he's crouched down, ready to shoot the car. Like, he's ready to shoot where you think people are sitting in a car, not at your length, not at your height, way up here, but you're ready to shoot down here. So he's getting cover and he's ready to shoot when they haven't even gotten there yet. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know if this guy was defending himself or not. It's not for us to decide. It's for the jury to decide ultimately. I don't think he was, based on the little bit that I know and based on what the witnesses have testified to. It doesn't seem that he was.
The essential difference between
self-defense that makes you not guilty of anything, and voluntary manslaughter, which makes you guilty of killing this person, although it does not amount to murder, is the question of whether you were afraid or whether you were provoked.
When I saw that weapon, I froze up.
Well, you saw the weapon on the way out. That's right.
I wonder how they hit their gun.
But I know like I said, I froze up before because even Zeus said, I look over at Zeus and he said he looked at me and I was like, when they drove and they turned around to come back, I'm already thinking that gun's still in there.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm thinking like they're about to open fire on us.
When they pull up, I mean, I'm like busting out in cold sweat.
But people who are provoked,
You know?
people who are provoked,
It's 90 degrees out there. How do you bust out in cold
people who are provoked
sweat?
and have rage go towards the problem. If you had rage, you would have ran at them.
Exactly.
If you're in fear,
I was
retreating, what you did. It was like, Papa, I'm looking at Zeus like.
Because of the smoke. Right?
Yeah, because of smoke. I thought Zeus got hit.
And also, it's 5:40 in the morning. It's dawn and it's misty.
They're walking right in the middle. They move over a little. One of the defendants, a hand goes up. I'm assuming that's an FU or like a, hey, what the fuck, or something. I don't know if it's the bird or just the hand, like, hey, what's your problem? See, but there's definitely something. Yeah, they're going to their cars.
See, he's running there, though.
You think so?
Oh, maybe. It looked like he was running, but maybe.
It's hard to tell because it's so far.
So they're out of the picture. Something's going on.
Yeah, see, they're here waiting for the light, is what we were told.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're
See that? So now here they come back because they said they were called back. You can't see, of course. Okay, here you go. Yeah, you do see a car door open, but you don't know if it's the front or the back. And
I
now
assume that was the front door.
the body falls right from the car right away. I think first shots are here in the deceased body because the deceased has a shot in his leg. So what I think is happening is he's coming out of the car, he gets shot in the leg, that's the first shot. He falls immediately, gets a couple more in his rear.
Then that's when these go. Play it one more time. Keep that in mind.
Whenever anybody is watching a movie or a television show, usually they're going to put themselves in the place of the protagonist. Okay, and that's exactly what we want them to do here. For us to win this case, we need to make every one of those jurors put themselves in your shoes at that moment. We've identified some things that we're concerned about, that we want to know how the jury responds to these issues. And we listed them up here, the ones that we came up with this morning, okay, and you can see what they are. Is there anything else? I mean, we found, handguns, obviously. What are people's attitudes about the use of handguns? Mm-hmm. Have they ever fired a handgun? If they own a handgun, why? If they don't own a handgun, why? Military and law enforcement, I think, are going to be real important. One, because of your background in the Marine Corps, but also everybody in the military and everybody in law enforcement carries a gun. How old were you when you joined the Marine Corps?
I was 20.
20?
I graduated in 19 out of high school. I waited a year. I had to wait because I wanted to go in the summertime. Then I moved to Las Vegas. I got into real estate, and I'm a successful businessman. But I grew up poor. Mm-hmm. Like, I mean, I go back to Cleveland, and it's like I see these small streets, and I live here, and it's like, wow, So,
I don't know if we necessarily want to. We can say that we're.
No, what I'm saying is
we don't want to
jury.
successful.
Yeah, you do.
Do you? No, we
Hell
want to say no.
Listen to me,
Yeah,
bro.
of course.
We're going to
I'm
let
not
them...
going to look at us in a bad way, like, oh, so you guys.
Oh, no. That's not going to happen.
I want them to know we're
No,
we're
Dominic's going to say it
working.
right. They don't call themselves
You
successful.
don't call yourself
We
successful.
call ourselves
We
successful.
paint you out
That's what I'm
to
saying.
be what you are, which is
No,
successful.
I understand
Okay,
that.
yeah.
I understand. I'm not going to say that. That's why I'm letting you talk. Go ahead, you call me successful.
Yeah, there you go.
Tell me.
We do have a racial issue here. We have two racial issues here. There's going to be biases against Hispanics. There's going to be biases against blacks. And it's something that we have to deal with. Strip clubs. Strip clubs are an issue in this case. Clearly, everything happened at a strip club. We're going to have some people on the jury that think that strip clubs are nothing more than a brick-and-mortar hell. I want to know if they've ever been afraid. Now, anybody who says that they haven't been afraid is lying.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but that's the essence of this case. We need to make every one of those jurors experience fear. Not that we're going to make them afraid. We need them to put themselves in your shoes at that moment. You have to trust these people. They have your life in their hands. You know, this is battle, and it's the worst possible kind for stress, because in a real battle, sooner or later, you're going to have some physical contact, and the stress is going to leave you. Here, there's no physical outlet. Have you been going to the gym at all? Have you had time? Probably
yeah.
not. You have been?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Cold today.
Okay.
Bye, have a good one.
You need to work on your spelling.
She's the Terminator. Prosecutor.
I'm the quiet assassin. I'm the low-key one.
It's always the quiet ones you gotta worry about.
opens up.
The quiet ones are the dangerous ones. Because they just come and get you out of nowhere, right, Danae? I like to be, what's that word? I like to be underestimated. Because when you're underestimated, when you're underestimated, people don't have great expectations about you, and then all of a sudden you just come and get them when they don't expect it. I like that.
Jury's entering.
This is State of Nevada versus Vega and Baker.
At this time, it's the state's opportunity to make their opening statement.
Good morning, Your Honor, counsel, ladies and gentlemen of the jury. Premeditated, deliberate, willful murder. This is what we expect the evidence to show. A night, a day of partying. July 23rd of '05. Amir Moghadam, his friend Wei Lu, and Christian all were together. The Land Rover is driving back down the lane. Any excessive speed, just driving. Door opens. Wei Lu is immediately shot 2 times. That's what the evidence is going to show. We are not in any type of situation where this should have happened. These individuals had plenty of time to leave there. That is what the state expects to show and expects to prove in this actual case. You guys are aware that there was a videotape. And I'll ask Ms. Lewis if we can just key it up and play it right now. And this is a tape from the Sapphires, the parking lot, 3025 Industrial. I think we can turn the lights up. Thank you.
Mr. Gentile?
Thank you. On July the 23rd, 2005, at about 5:30 or 5:40, somewhere in there, Zeus Vega put a bullet through the chest of Wei Lu. Wei Lu died from that bullet. That's called a homicide. All homicides are not illegal, and this one wasn't. Mr. Vega is going to tell you that Mr. Baker said to him, words to the effect that he saw somebody in the passenger seat, front seat, with a gun. At the end of the case, the question that you're going to be facing is, was what Zeus Vega did here done in response to his fear? And you will have to judge from the facts as you hear them whether a reasonable person would be afraid. And at the end of the case, you're going to have to say, if he didn't have a gun, who'd be dead?
I love Vegas, man. It brings so much opportunity for people that didn't know what opportunity was. I didn't come to Vegas to gamble. Real estate was really big. It was starting to grow, and I saw that happening, and I wanted to be a part of it. I was a businessman by day, entertainer by night. I was a dancer at Olympic Gardens. You have to have confidence where I grew up. If not, you're gonna get stepped on, picked on, you know. So it's just growing up in the streets, man. It's just the way it is. This is a 24-hour town, so it's easier to get in trouble here because, you know, for example, like Cleveland, you know, you could only get in trouble till 1:30. Here, you got till 5 o'clock in the morning, and sometimes people don't even go to sleep after that. And then you got after hours that start from 3 to noon. So I've been waiting for this trial for 1.5 years. I'm nervous, I'm overwhelmed, but I'm excited that we're finally moving forward.
Mogadam, in my opinion, is absolutely the man who was responsible for the death of this Wang Louie.
Wei Lu.
Willy Wonka.
That's like that.
Yeah, well, hey, you know, I wouldn't laugh at this if these guys didn't deserve it. But man, they absolutely asked for it. They lived a life. They lived a life that was even in their own mind designed for this kind of an end. Who's the aggressor? The aggressor's the guy that's driving the car. If Mogadam wasn't fucked up, he could have turned to these guys and said, look, that's crazy, guys. Let's just go. What are we doing here?
Jury's entering.
Counsel, will you stipulate to the presence of the jury?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, at this time, State, please call your first witness.
The state calls Amir Mogadam.
Sir, if you could, approach the witness stand.
Please state your name and spell it for the record.
Amir Mogadam, A-M-I-R, M-O-G-A-D-A-M.
Amir, did you know a person by the name of Wei Lu?
Yes, ma'am. He's my best friend.
And how long did you know Wei Lu?
Since I was 11 years old.
Okay. What about Christian Wang Louie?
He was good friends with Wei, and I was good friends with Christian's brother, Mino, who's in the Army, and we were out, you know, celebrating Christian's birthday that night.
Okay. Before you went out that night, what did you do earlier in the day?
Me and Wei went to the gym, and we played tennis. We played for, like, who's going to be the designated driver that night, you know? And it kind of sucks that I won, kind of, because I feel like maybe I would have been the one died, you know, if he would have won, and kind of feel guilty a little bit about it.
So about 3:30, you got to Sapphire's.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you arrived there, what did you do?
You know, we all were having lap dances, but mostly I had a lap dance for Christian and Wei the whole night.
And what happened when you left Sapphire's?
There was two guys in front of us that kind of like walked in front of, you know, our car as if we were leaving. And middle fingers were flashed, you know.
Anybody say anything?
No, ma'am.
And so what happened then as you saw this?
I pulled to the light and we kind of looked back, whether we knew him or it was joking or whether to go back and the worst thing, you know, we would fight him, you know.
And what did you see?
Brian Baker kind of motioning us back, you know, to come back.
And so then what did you do?
Backed up and drove towards them. I didn't see Jesus, you know, in his doorway, kind of perched. And I didn't even actually get the car in park yet. Way took a step out and shots just started firing. I started ducking, and for me having to duck and look at the same time, my foot came off the brake. So the car started rolling forward, and my gut instinct is he thought we were all dead.
Okay, so did
That's
you...
how I think Christian's still alive, though.
Did
because
you...
the car was moving.
Okay, so what did you do?
I just let the car roll as he's taking off, and then when he left, I hit the brakes and went back towards Way.
Okay, and you said when he left, who are you talking about?
Well, actually, when both of them left.
When you came back to Way's body, where did you see him?
Laying on his back on the ground, and Christian was holding his head like kind of on his lap and kind of on his knees.
And what did you do?
I ran over there and was just trying to help as much as I could, and then realized to call 911 right away.
Have you ever listened to a recording of that call?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Hello? Yo, they shot my homie. They sent ambulance. It's Top Fire Gentlemen's Club. Top Fire Gentlemen's Club. They shot him in the chest.
Okay, let me get this call going. Hold on. Do you know the address there?
He's dying. Hey, what's the address? What's that?
Hi, we need an ambulance down to Sapphire Gentlemen's Club. What is going on exactly? They need to know.
We got a shooting in the parking lot.
A shooting in the parking lot. And then there's a man down. They need to know if you guys have anything else on the suspect.
Light Escalade. Light Escalade.
Which way did it go?
He went south on Industrial.
Jacko, is he still breathing?
He's unconscious.
He's unconscious right now. We have all the directors outside.
He's still breathing.
But he is still breathing.
Okay, we're on our way.
Amir, in this call that's playing right now, there's a voice in the background screaming. Is that your voice?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and did help come?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you do anything else in between that time?
Well, I just guided Christian because he was already there and to do mouth to mouth and what the person was telling us on the phone.
And did you get hurt that evening?
No, I got lucky.
Okay. Did you have any weapons in your car at any time?
No, ma'am.
Do you know whether Way was carrying any weapons?
Not to my knowledge, we never had to bring out weapons.
Okay. What about Christian? Do you know if he had any weapons?
Earlier that night, no, but now to the fact, yes.
Okay. Tell us what you know now that you didn't know earlier that night.
He had a knife.
Did you see what happened with that knife?
I didn't see. Well, what happened was he gave it to me, and it wouldn't close. So I put it in my pocket, and I threw it.
Where did you throw the knife?
On the street.
I'm going to go ahead and ask you to watch that video on the monitor, and I'm going to ask you some questions. Amir, let me know when you see anybody in the video that you recognize.
That's me and my friends right there.
Okay.
Well, I'm not in there yet.
Who's the first one that's way up ahead with the green and white jersey?
That's Way.
What's going on right here at this part of the video? What are you doing?
I'm walking, and I just seen Way throwing up and going towards the car. Yeah, we're getting in my car. I'm about to leave right now.
So is that your car now?
Yeah.
How many times have you watched this video?
This is the first time.
I'll pass the witness.
Cross-examination.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
Did I understand you correctly to say, on direct examination, that you didn't see Brian Baker do anything at the time of the shooting?
I didn't see him going for anything. I didn't see him have nothing in his hand. No, I thought, you know, that's why, you know, I thought at worst we'd fight because I didn't see Jesus Vega.
So at the time you drove up, there was nothing in Mr. Baker's hands?
No, sir.
He was unarmed?
Yes, sir.
And that's when you had determined that it would be a fight?
Yes, sir. Oh, if at worst.
When were you discussing this potential boxing match?
Well, as you can see when we were driving out, they're kind of impeding our driving, you know? They're kind of standing in front of the car, not really getting out of the way.
And so when they don't really get out of the way, is that when the boxing match gets discussed?
Well, that's when they flipped us off as well, so.
Now, you say they. Who flicked you off?
One or two, I'm driving a car at the same time, you know? I noticed middle finger's coming and middle finger's going.
Who? Who was giving the middle finger?
The only people I witnessed was Brian Baker and Waylu.
And is that when you discussed the boxing match?
No, when I was at the light, I discussed it.
So you actually leave the parking area?
No, I don't. I'm at the light in the parking area.
Okay. And you claim he's waving you down?
Yeah, you can see it. Even in the short picture that I can see it.
You can see that?
Yeah.
When you came back, isn't it true you came at a much higher rate of speed than you left? Does that question make sense to you?
Yeah, it makes sense, but I don't know. I can't tell you that.
You couldn't see it by watching the video?
You want to play it again for me?
Were you in a hurry to get back to box?
Not really.
Just sort of a casual thing?
I'm not really sure.
Did all three of you agree? In other words, was Wei Lu, Christian Wong Wui, and you prepared to go back for a boxing match?
At worst.
At worst. Boxing fight with a knife?
I didn't have a knife.
Well, how about Christian Wong Wui?
I guess he had a knife. Better a knife against a gun? I mean, which one's better?
Well, if I understood you correctly, you saw Brian Baker and he was unarmed. That's what you said, correct?
Yes, sir.
And so I guess what you're saying is better a knife against an unarmed man, right?
No, well, I didn't tell you when Christian had the knife out.
When did he have the knife out, sir?
You gotta ask him.
When did you see it, sir?
Next to Way. On the ground, in between Way and Christian.
The knife was open?
Yes, sir.
Did you pick it up or was it handed to you?
It was handed to me.
And that was because Christian Wong Wui could not close it?
You gotta ask him why he handed it to me.
Did you ask him why he handed it to you?
No, I didn't. I was too concerned my best friend dead, you know?
But you were real concerned about getting rid of that knife.
Yes, I was.
Yes?
Yes. Not denying that.
And you did that to dispose of relevant evidence, didn't you?
I did it to get it away from me.
Sir, when you first saw it, it wasn't near you, was it?
No, it wasn't on me.
You weren't holding it, correct?
No, I wasn't.
And so you became concerned that you would have a knife on you and you had to throw it away? Is that your testimony?
Well, you never know what could happen, you know what I mean? I don't want to get caught with a knife because I wasn't supposed to have a knife.
And that was because you were on probation for some type of an assault? Is that right?
Yes, sir.
In fact, isn't it true that you have 2 felony convictions within the last 10 years, sir?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure whether you have felony convictions or not?
No, I know I was convicted of felony for drugs, yes.
2 felonies for drugs, sir?
Distribution marijuana in a drug-free zone in Utah, you know?
Your Honor, that concludes cross-examination for Mr. Baker.
Mr. Gentile?
Your Honor, I can commence, but I won't be finished.
Commence.
Okay. Mr. Mogadam, you said that you were not supposed to have a weapon because you were on probation.
Yes, sir.
And it was a condition, and you were on probation for assault and battery. Yes?
All I get is a quick answer, but I don't get a chance to defend myself, but yes.
And you were supposed to go to a drug rehab center. It was a condition of your probation, was it not?
No, it wasn't.
Have you seen the court order with respect to your probation?
What, to get anger management classes?
Yes.
Is that a rehab? No. I needed to go to anger management classes?
And you also had to go to a drug class?
No, that's not true.
If I may have a moment.
I just went to court for that, so I know what I'm talking about. So if you want to, you know, whatever you're saying.
You know, rather than do that today, I'm going to ask what I can today, and I'll come back tomorrow with that.
I'm out of here tonight, then.
And among the things that you weren't supposed to be doing on July the 23rd of 2005 is drinking alcohol. You'd agree to that, wouldn't you?
I could drink alcohol whenever I want, unless they tell me I'm not supposed to.
Okay. You were taking 18 milligrams a day of Subutex, were you not?
8 milligrams a day, and I have a total hip replacement for the reason of taking it.
Sir, you were taking 8 milligrams twice a day,
8
and 2
milligrams
milligrams
once
in
a day.
addition, were you not?
8 milligrams once a day.
I have seen your prescription.
Okay, well, obviously not.
And the reason that you were on Subutex, sir, is that you were a heroin addict since you were 17 years old.
It's not true. I was hooked to pain medication when I was 18 years old for a hip replacement.
You took heroin as pain medication?
No, I'm trying to tell you. You're trying to tell me my life. I'm trying to tell you what I took.
So you're denying that you started taking heroin at 17 years old?
First time I tried heroin was when I was 18 years old.
Okay, I'm a year off. And you took it until April of 2005, did you not?
Okay, you want to know the truth? I stopped smoking heroin when I missed my son's birth, May 26, 1996. That's when I stopped smoking heroin.
And you never took heroin after that?
Never.
And from the time you were 14 till you were 17, you huffed gasoline and paint and whiteout.
Judge, I'm going to object this to relevance. We've gone on enough about this. It has nothing to do with July 23rd of 2005.
Sustained.
Do you recall writing on a notepad with respect to your life and your drug use?
Objection, foundation, and relevance.
State gave it to us.
Can I see counsel in the hallway? Sir, you have to remain seated in your seat.
Okay.
You can't talk to anybody, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. You talk about huffing and paint sniffing or something, or gasoline huffing at age 14. That was way out of line.
Metro gave us this.
But it still has to be relevant to come in just because it's in the car.
Drug use and prolonged drug use.
At age
is
13?
Absolutely, it's been
Absolutely.
uninterrupted. That's his handwriting.
When I was much less definitely, I would try to escape my lockup. But
You gave it to us.
Just because we
Doesn't mean it's relevant.
Whiteout? You huff whiteout?
This is basically this guy's life story in his own handwriting, okay? Now, he just said that he stopped in 1996. In this document right here, it says he took it up till 3 months before he went into rehab.
Okay, well, that's pure impeachment.
So you'll let me go there?
Do that.
Okay, I'll do it tomorrow.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am going to release you for the evening. During this overnight recess, you are admonished not to talk or converse among yourselves with anyone else, any subject connected with this trial. You're not to read, watch, or listen to any report of or commentary on the trial by any person connected with this case or any medium of information, including without limitation, newspaper, television, the internet, or radio. You're not to form or express any opinion on any subject connected with this trial until the case is finally submitted to you. 9:45. Here's the thing. You have to come back. You're subject to subpoena.
Can I postpone it 4 days and come back in 4 days?
We have to finish it tomorrow morning. You gotta be here.
Okay.
But we're gonna do you first until you're done.
Okay.
Okay?
Thanks a lot.
All right.
All right.
Records should reflect we're outside the presence of the jury.
Judge, we've got 3 different people in the car, and they want to argue that Amir Moghadam was an aggressor. Amir Moghadam never even got out of the car. Either Christian's an aggressor, Wei-Lu's an aggressor, and Amir's an aggressor. You can't say that Amir's an aggressor because Wei-Lu steps out of the car. Amir's an aggressor because the kid in the backseat's holding a knife.
Okay, the issue becomes who was driving the car that turned it around to, I mean, there's a whole issue whether that's an aggressive act in and of itself. I mean, I don't think you have to get out of a car to be an aggressor. You can turn around, you can use word, you can use deed, you can use...
But it's also a question of fact, and the witness has already testified he was called back by Brian Baker.
He's a liar. Don't you get it?
It's a question of fact, regardless of what Mr. Gentile believes, and the video will show that Brian Baker's hand goes up. So that tends to corroborate what he's saying. So if he's called back by Mr. Baker, he cannot be an aggressor. That's the point that I'm getting at. And
I disagree with you. I disagree with you. Quite frankly, which act is the more aggressive, the waving on or the coming back? You know, that's a question of fact. I mean, you'd like me to see it one way and they'd like me to see it the other. The jury may find that the driving back is more aggressive than as somebody saying, yeah, you know, in front of the girl that they're with. I don't know. That's their theory of the case. I'm not saying I agree with it. And if the jury believe him, I'm just going to check it out, see if I know him, then you know what? I agree with you. But you're believing your witness. Someone else might not. Someone else might think he turned around with a malignant heart.
We have a desensitized jury when it comes to weapons.
Correct.
Well, nobody who takes a gun in his hand and shoots it doesn't envision there being a bad guy on the other end of the bullet.
Exactly. And what's really hard for the jury to understand is that that was the only night that I ever brought the weapon with me.
You know, when Brian tells you that they have a gun, he doesn't even know that you have a gun in the backseat of your car.
Of course not. But the thing is how lucky am I that I did bring it to that specific place.
Yeah.
And I needed it that night.
Yep.
God was with me.
This is Danae Adams. I'm trying to reach Amir Mogadam. He's one of our witnesses, and I think he was admitted this morning. Is there a possibility I could talk to Amir? He's unconscious? Sedated? Okay.
We're ready.
Amir Mogadam has been admitted to the hospital, and he's unavailable to be here today. I actually followed it up. I called the hospital, spoke with the charge nurse and certain personnel that indicated that he is still there.
Okay. My perception of yesterday afternoon was he was not happy about having to stay today. I would hate to have to declare a mistrial in this case because I can't get the witness back. I can't have just the state's evidence and no cross-examination. I mean, that can't happen. So if you know family members that can get in contact with him and encourage him to stay in town to finish this up, great. State, call your next witness.
The state calls Dr. Sim.
Sir, if you would approach the witness stand.
Dr. Sims, did you have an occasion to perform an autopsy on a person by the name of Wei Lu on July 24th of 2005?
Correct.
And did you have an occasion to perform an external examination of Wei Lu?
Yes, he had several gunshot wounds.
Did you have an opinion as to the cause of death
It was a gunshot wound to the chest.
and the manner of death?
Homicide.
Pass the witness.
Cross-examination. Mr. Gentile?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. Doctor, you said that the wound to the chest went basically through the aorta.
Correct.
And then it actually had an exit. It went out the middle of the back.
Correct.
And so the bullet exited just at about the spine.
It exited actually in the chest right next to the spine, and it came out right in the central low backs.
Okay. Now, when the aorta is hit, you bleed fast, don't you?
Yes, you lose a significant amount of blood in just over a period of 20, 30 seconds.
Okay. And what I am showing you, you refer to it as an incision of the left hand.
Incised wound?
An incised wound. That appears, would you touch your magic screen over there and show us what you're talking about? Okay. That did not have a lot of blood there.
Yes, if you look at the edges of the wound, there's some drying change, but there's not a lot of hemorrhage in the edges of the wound.
Would that indicate to you that that wound most likely occurred after this person's, or right at about the time that the person's blood pressure had dropped?
Correct. So it may have occurred right at the time of death or after death or just slightly before death. That would be the best I could do as far as a time frame goes, yeah.
I want to show you Exhibit 9B. Is 9B consistent with an incised wound such as what we're looking at?
Definitely.
And so if somebody Mr. Wei-Lu specifically, had 9B in his right hand, was shot and fell forward, and the knife hit his left hand where that incised wound is, and he slid forward, that would explain not only the wound on the wrist, but also the abrasions on the back of the hand, wouldn't it?
That scenario would work with that, yes.
I don't have anything further.
Thank you very much for your testimony, sir. You're excused.
The state calls Christian Wang-Wui.
Mr. Wang-Wui, if you could approach the witness stand up here, sir. Right up here. Once you're at the witness stand, while you're still standing, could you face my clerk, raise your right hand, and be sworn?
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
Please be seated.
Mr. Wang-Wui, you remember what you had to drink when you were inside of Sapphire's?
No, ma'am.
Pardon me?
No.
Okay. Does anything happen when you walk out the Sapphire door?
I throw up.
Does anything happen on the way to the car?
No, ma'am.
And you guys get inside the car?
Yes. Amir's driving. Wei-Lu's sitting front passenger, and I'm sitting right behind Wei. We're exiting. I remember seeing Mike Baker and Jesus Vega and a woman with them.
Had you ever seen any of these three individuals before?
No, ma'am.
And you said at some point you saw them waving you back. Is that correct?
Yes, I seen Mr. Barker here waving us to come back. We turn around and start heading towards their direction. We pull up and then shots just start going off.
What exactly did you see?
I seen them pull out a gun and just start shooting.
Okay. And did you see both of them?
Yes.
Did you remember seeing Amir or Wei doing anything inside the car prior to that shooting?
No.
Did you have any weapons with you at that point?
Yes, ma'am.
And what, if any?
I had a knife. It was in my left hand.
Okay. Did you open it while you were inside the car?
No, ma'am.
Did you ever open it?
No.
Now, when these shots rang out, what's the next thing that happened?
I tell Amir to leave.
And does he start driving?
No.
What happens?
He tells me, wait.
Can I approach the witness, please, John?
He says he can't leave because Wei's out the car.
And so what does he do?
He takes his foot off the brake so he could slouch down more. I remember looking back as shots were still being fired, and I see him Wei on the ground.
Did you ever see your knife again?
Yes, it was laying next to Wei's body, open. I handed it to Amir.
Do you know what happened to it after you handed it to Amir?
No.
I passed the witness, John.
Mr. Orr, cross-examination.
Yes, Your Honor. You were attempting to get out of the vehicle with your knife in your left hand, correct?
Not correct.
Was the knife blade open or closed?
It was closed.
And at some point, you noticed that the knife is now open. At some point, right?
Yes.
Have you ever just seen it open on its own?
No.
Did you see your knife drop out of your hand?
I didn't see it drop out of my hand, no.
You had taken cover, but you were still able to see cartridges coming out of the guns?
Yes. When I turned around and looked where Wei was at, yes.
What gun did you see cartridges coming out of? Mr. Vega or Mr. Baker?
Out of Jesus' gun.
How about Mr. Baker's? Did you see cartridges coming out of his gun?
No. I ain't keep my head up for that long, sir. I'm pretty sure you wouldn't either if you have gunshots and glass flying everywhere.
Permission to approach, Your Honor. I'm going to be showing him his statement at the very bottom of page 14, top of page 15. Sir, I'm showing you what purports to be a transcript of your recorded statement to the police, and we'll start off by showing you, does that appear to be a statement given by you on July 23rd, 05?
Yes.
I'm going to ask you to read to yourself the very bottom question and answer on page 14 and the top question and answer on page 15, and let me know when you're done.
All right.
Does that refresh your memory as to you telling the police that you saw casings coming out of Mr. Baker's gun?
I might have mistaken it for Jesus.
But that's what you were telling the police. You just may have made a mistake. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I'm asking you, as you sit here today, are you telling the ladies and gentlemen of the jury you're not sure whether or not you saw casings coming out of a gun held by Mr. Baker?
I didn't see shell casings coming out of a gun from Mr. Baker.
Your Honor, on behalf of Mr. Baker, that concludes cross-examination.
Mr. Gentile, cross-examination.
Mr. Wong Louie, did Wei Lu say that someone flipped them off?
Yes.
But you did not see it yourself. We can agree to that?
Yes.
You weren't the one who made the decision to back up and go back. Am I right?
Correct.
That was Mr. Mogadam's decision, wasn't it?
Yes.
Can I have exhibit number 9, please? Is this your knife?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. I'm done.
Thank you very much, sir, for your testimony. You're excused.
I don't have any doubt in my mind now that Wei Lu got out of the vehicle with the knife. I think the physical evidence points to that. You know, and I can see where you misperceived it. The Land Rover passes you the first time. You don't even look in it. Brian tells you that they got a gun. You've already got it in your mind to see a gun. So anything that is being held in the hand by an aggressor for a split second is going to be a gun to you. You know, and I think you got to tell the truth. I thought he had a gun. Okay. Turned out he had a knife. I thought he had a gun.
That's what I saw.
Yeah. But I think you got to acknowledge right now that maybe it wasn't.
State, call your next witness.
They call Susan Liu. May I proceed, Your Honor?
Yes.
Miss Liu, are you familiar with Wei Lu?
Yes.
And how do you know? Did you
He's
know
my
Wei
brother.
Lu? And do you remember your brother's birth date?
March 27th, 1975.
Miss Liu, besides yourself and your brother, any more siblings?
No.
Did you have an occasion to find out back in July 23rd of 05 that your brother had been killed?
Yes, I did.
I'm showing you what's been marked as State's Proposed Exhibit 166. Are you familiar with who's depicted in that photograph?
Yes.
And Miss Liu, who's depicted in that photograph?
My brother.
And do you remember when that was taken about?
It was New Year's of '98. He had gone to Key West and he had just finished skydiving.
Okay. I'll pass the witness, Your Honor.
How are you?
Good.
I'm hearing great things about you guys. Oh my God, I can't get over it.
Is this your client, Dominique?
Probably true. Over there.
Oh, good-looking client.
Yeah.
Our clients don't look like that. God damn it.
Oh, yeah. In fact, when was the last time you had a client that was in the Marines that has no previous record?
Yeah.
Damn, he's...
Who's out on bail on a murder.
I know. Can we borrow him to play the part of our client in my next case?
Jesus. That was all show. Let's put somebody on Friday to make the jury feel badly for the victim.
I'm just glad that part's over. I'm just glad that part's over.
When this sister was up there crying, the jury's like,
yeah, is that what you got?
man, your head was down, so you didn't see the jury.
If you love this guy,
yes.
Why didn't you do something when he was
The
alive?
jury didn't care at all. She was crying. Nobody in the jury even. They were just sitting there like, this is all part of the act. This your brother? Yeah. They're just sitting there like.
Yeah, she was. There are. Did you hear today?
You know what? If it wasn't Christmas, we'd never be able to keep her up there. Did you hear that?
When she was sick today?
Yeah. We can keep
I
it
did.
up.
I was listening.
No matter what.
She's doing it.
No bad
that she has to relive this situation. That's the only thing I had. That's why I kept my head down.
What?
There's not, no reason for me to be looking up.
I felt sorry until you know what I thought about.
Well,
Cheers.
to the first week. This for sure. First week it wasn't bad.
LA's where it's at.
You understand that if we lose, you're going to spend your life in prison?
I guess so.
So when you see a gun, you know you're seeing a gun. There's no question.
That's what I'm trained for.
But Mr. Baker is like, because you know what? There is no imminent fear.
He saved that man's life.
Come on, Mr. Marine, Mr. America. You decide that you can't even call the police regarding this situation? Because you did something wrong.
The Sapphire shooting is the latest in a long line of bar and club shootings. Killed a passenger and injured another man, both young Asian men.
There's only one reason for someone to have a gun. It's to use it.
He knows the car's coming back. He's already ready to shoot.
6 shots, right? 6 shots.
We never had to bring out weapons.
We need to make every one of those jurors experience fear. You have to trust these people. They have your life in their hands.
All right, the record should reflect that we're outside the presence of the jury. Mr. Gentile.
This is a self-defense case. There is a second issue. Who was the aggressor? In this particular case, Mr. Wei Lu was convicted and did time for attempted murder. And so at least 12 people who sat on his jury in California opined beyond a reasonable doubt that he had a violent character. The officer who investigated Mr. Wei Lu, Officer Hill, is going to come in and he is going to testify as to the conviction and the investigation and all of the people that he interviewed.
I submit to the court that all that this witness can testify to this jury is, this is who I am, I'm a detective from Santa Barbara, or this is how long I've been a detective, this is what I do. Do you know Wei Lu? Yes. What is your opinion about Wei Lu? My opinion is X, whatever his opinion is. To say anything more would be getting into any of the extrinsic evidence that specifically is not permitted. And so I submit to the court we have no objection to this witness testifying as long as he is given specific instruction that that is all he is permitted to say.
I'll let gang membership in, I'll tell you that.
Excuse me?
Gang membership, I'm going to let that in if that's what that person's going to testify to.
Even though they've never been a documented gang member?
If the officer testifies that he had knowledge that this person was a gang member, and I'll have to hear, you can test the foundation outside the presence of the jury at the hearing.
Yes, we will.
Vinceremo.
They honestly think that he is not a gangbanger. Did you hear him? We will. We'll test it. We will. They were, when we were talking about Hill, they said, oh, we'll test it. Test if he's really a gang member.
Amir Moghadam, one of our main victims, is in the middle of cross-examination. We get a phone message first thing in the morning from California from the girlfriend. He's in the hospital. We're not going to make it. I know we're supposed to be there at 9:15, but we're not going to make it. He's in the hospital. Click. So we're like panicking. Now he's coming back again this morning. He already missed the early morning flight, and so he's on like the next flight that will get him here in about an hour. So bottom line is, if he doesn't come back and finish testifying, mistrial. After we've been doing all this work.
I can't believe I'm doing this right before Christmas, though. You know what I mean? It's so... Like I was driving...
I thought I was going to be home for Christmas last Christmas. I thought I was home free. Remember?
Oh, were we supposed to do this last Christmas?
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Okay. They're in the airport. In the airplane, I think.
Wonderful.
Hadn't taken off yet, though.
That's the best news I've heard all day.
I've been in trial at Christmas before, but not this bad.
I want to be done right now.
Me too. Okay, Herman, bring in the jury.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Please be seated.
In the course of your career as a law enforcement officer, have you encountered a person by the name of Wei Lu?
Yes. I was assigned to investigate an incident that occurred in Santa Barbara in which his name was suggested to me as being involved.
Okay, what was the nature of the incident?
It was an attempted homicide, a drive-by shooting.
What were the circumstances of the drive-by?
5 friends had gone to a club in Santa Barbara to listen to a band. At the end of the evening, they were walking out to their cars. They became separated, where basically 4 of them were ahead of my victim. They saw this black Lexus next to their friend and engaged in some kind of a conversation. And then next time they looked, the car had pulled out in kind of a half U-turn. Somebody was extending a gun out the passenger window, and they heard a gunshot, and then followed by 2 more gunshots.
And did you interview those percipient witnesses yourself?
Yes, I did.
Did you also have communications with other law enforcement agencies beside the Santa Barbara Sheriff's Office?
Yes, detectives with the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office had prior contacts with Wei Lu. They had gang records on file where Wei Lu had claimed 2 gangs, one called the Gremlins and the others the Gumbies.
Did you determine whether the information with respect to his membership in the gang was in fact accurate?
It was consistent with information that I had seized in the search warrant, and we did find quite a bit of writings in his home, scribbling with the Gumbies and the Gremlins.
Did there come a time when he was charged in the attempt murder?
Yes, he was charged with attempt homicide and accessory.
Did you form an opinion as to whether Wei Lu exhibited definite violent characteristics?
Yes, I felt that he was a violent individual.
Nothing further.
Cross-examination.
No cross-room.
Thank you very much, sir, for your testimony. You're excused.
Thank you.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a 10-minute restroom break. During this recess, you're admonished not to talk or converse among yourselves or anyone else on any subject connected with this trial, and not to read, watch, or listen to any Mr. Moghadam has been recalled to the witness stand to finish his testimony. Sir, you do understand that you're still under oath?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Gentile, go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Moghadam, is this a document that you filled out with your own hand?
Yes, sir.
At Talbot Recovery?
Yes.
And you told the truth when you filled out on this document, did you not?
Could be close to it.
And you told them at that time that the last time you used heroin was 3 weeks ago.
Am I right?
No.
Would looking at this document help refresh your memory as to what you wrote on this document?
I know what I could write, but I know how to manipulate the system, you know what I mean?
Now, I want to show you what's marked for identification as Defendant's Exhibit H. Have you ever seen anything like that before?
I remember this, yes, I do remember this.
So one of these was in your vehicle that night. You remember that?
Could be.
And it had been in there for quite some time, hadn't it?
I'm not sure.
You were in control of the vehicle.
Yes, sir.
Certainly you could have pulled out onto Industrial and driven off your merry way.
Yeah, I feel kind of guilty.
I don't have anything further.
State redirect?
Yes, Judge. Amir, when you made the decision to reverse your car and go back to where these individuals were at, what did you think you were going there to do?
Fight.
Did you have any weapons in your car that night?
No, ma'am.
What about the thing that he just showed you, Exhibit H?
You know, you never can be too careful.
Okay.
And I'm not the one to hold a gun and shoot people. You know what I mean?
Mr. Orm?
Thank you. When Mr. Gentile asked you about that handle, I believe you said you never can be too careful. Is that what you said?
That's what I said.
That implies that's a weapon, right?
Self-defense, something.
Or something you can use when you're boxing, right?
I broke my knuckle 3 times, man. I fight with my fist.
That concludes cross-examination.
Just a couple of things. You said that the night that you got into your bad accident, Welu was with you and he saved your life, right?
Yeah, he went up the mountain and got help.
Okay, now that was December the 20th of 1994.
Yes, sir.
And you got jumped into a gang that night.
Judge, I'm going to object this trial. Sustained.
You were going to go box on the 23rd of July, 2005, right?
That's my intentions.
This a box cutter?
I don't know. Is it?
Nothing further.
Thank you very much, sir, for your testimony. Excused.
Thank you.
It's my understanding at this time, State.
Yes, Judge, the state rests.
The state rests about 40 minutes earlier than we had anticipated.
We are saying that they were the aggressors. They placed us in reasonable fear of great bodily harm or death. The state's position is that these guys were not the aggressors. Well, let's look at the video. Would you drop that, please? The screen. Okay, here. All right, at 8 seconds, this guy comes on the screen. Okay, here's him throwing up. That's Wong Wui, right? On the right-hand side over here is the dead guy. Okay, now there comes Brian. He's turning right, looking at Orly. Yeah, they're strolling.
He's strolling, though, like a...
He's strolling.
Like a guy who's thinking about going home with some...
Okay, but now here,
Yeah.
you're going to see him turn left.
Right. He turns, and he's seen it now. Do you see him do anything with his hand now, Don?
Yeah. You can see his hand way backwards,
You
kind
can
of
see,
in an underhand, but the resolution.
do I see him do something with his hand? Yes, I do, but I can't tell you what the hell it is. I know his arm is this way and his hand is this way.
Is it, you don't see it up?
No, it's
Here?
not up. It's like this.
Yeah,
You got eyes?
no, I mean, my wife says she can see this. When that goes by,
What can
she
she-
swears that she can see this.
No, she
I've seen
doesn't
that a
see
million
She's-
times at every resolution that possible. That's not there.
Let's go back and look at it just to make sure.
At 2:33, you turn. And your arm isn't going up, it's swinging this way.
Swinging back.
It's just swinging back. Now, what is going on with that gesture? That's a gesture at 2:45.
I think that was me trying to get her attention.
Is this Orly right here?
Yes.
Okay.
Probably was saying, hey, I'm going to go work on that, pointing at her. Realistically.
Okay. Hey, look, Zeus is starting to trot. Now he goes into a run at 2:57. One of the things that's eating away at me is why is Zeus running and you just taking your time with her? You don't actually get her into her car. If you're afraid of these guys at that moment, You're getting her into her car and you're telling her, get the hell out of here. And she's just taking her time.
They were at a stoplight. The light was red. The light turned green. They went and then backed up. Okay. It wasn't a green light. They just
Here's
drove
my
through.
point. Here's my point. There's no way when these guys are still on their way out of the parking lot that you could feel threatened. Look at that. This is 2:35. At 2:55, Arlie goes over to her car toward her trunk. Zeus starts walking one way.
That's when he says something to me.
But it can't possibly be that they're coming back because they don't come back for 27-some seconds.
I got it.
Look at this. Look at this. He hits it, man. He's running. Where are you? You're still there. You're chatting with her. Zeus has already made it to his vehicle.
I know I felt the initial threat when they walked by, but after they drove by, they were out of my life. Right. I didn't care.
I understand. That makes perfect sense.
I didn't care. The thing that made me take off is when I seen the car coming back.
Okay, here's my thinking. This thing about you wanted to see her get safely into her car is bullshit. She's not in her car. She's standing next to her car. You're going to see her walk around her car before she gets in her car, and you're already on your way. And you see, you're just not moving that fast.
Ma'am, if you could approach the witness stand. Ma'am? The witness stand, please.
Please state your name and spell it for the record.
My name is Arlie Nicholas. It's spelled A-U-R-E-L-I-E. And my last name is Nicolas.
Could you pull up the chair a little bit to the microphone?
Yes.
Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Are you nervous?
A little bit.
A little bit. Let's start from the beginning. When you went to the Sapphire, what was Brian's demeanor? What was he... How was he acting? Was he happy, sad, angry? What would you say?
No, he was happy to see me there, and he was just very calm and just calm.
Did you see Mr. Baker ever make an obscene gesture towards any vehicle or anyone that evening?
No.
I want to ask you if you remember Mr. Vega and Mr. Baker standing at any time towards the club, standing there going like this.
No.
Did you hear Mr. Baker say anything like, hey, you guys, come on?
No.
Nothing further. I can see that they want to bring Zeus to trial and let a jury decide was it self-defense. A person died. I understand that. They do it with the police. You know, they have a coroner's inquest. But with you, Brian, they have to know. They have to know. I mean, they haven't said it yet, but they're going to have to stand up and say Brian Baker is guilty of murder of the first degree. Are you frightened of testifying?
No.
It doesn't scare you to be cross-examined?
No.
Cross-examined? You're not frightened at all?
Not at all.
You have no fear?
No.
I have fear for you.
Why?
Just because I have to put you on the witness stand, it's like you're the boxer and I'm the trainer, that you got to go out there. I'm like, come on, come on, come on, fight, fight, fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't get to be out there.
Yeah.
Your Honor, at this time, the defense for Mr. Baker would call Mr. Baker.
Sir, would you approach the witness stand? Raise your right hand and be sworn.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Please be seated. Please state your name and spell it for the record.
Brian Baker, B-A-K-E-R.
Mr. Baker, when you arrive at Sapphire's, did you make plans to meet anyone else?
Yes. Arlie.
Arlie Nicholas?
Yes.
The lady who testified?
Yes.
Where had you met her?
At the gym.
Why had you called her, Brian?
Because I wanted to hang out with her. I wanted to spend some time with her.
Were you interested in her?
Extremely.
Tell the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, what were your plans?
Our plans were to leave the club and go to my house.
To get to know each other a little better?
Yes.
Did you see a Land Rover pass you, Brian?
Yes. I start walking over to the right to move out of the way of the vehicle, and through the front windshield, I seen a guy. I didn't see too much of his face, but I saw a lot of movement, which made me pay attention to the front windshield. I thought he was throwing up some sort of gang signs. They were very foreign to me. They weren't a peace sign or a wave or anything else. So.
Do you know when I say flick somebody off what I mean? I mean, like, give them the thing. Did you do that?
No. I was like, whatever. It was a whatever motion to me. It wasn't aggressive or meant to be aggressive in any way.
When the Land Rover was coming back, had you noticed anything about what was happening in the Land Rover?
As the vehicle approached closer to me, I had time to get from one side of my car. By the time I got to the other side, the passenger side back window was down.
At some point, did you see anyone getting out of that vehicle?
Yes.
When you saw that, how did you feel?
I really can't put that into words.
Why?
Because that's the first time I've ever felt like that.
Tell the jury how you felt.
I was scared for my life at the time.
Did you see him with anything when he got out?
I seen him reaching for a weapon, the same weapon that I saw in the windshield. I was shocked. I froze.
Now, Mr. Morgadam said you did nothing, but Mr. Wong-Woo said that he saw you shooting a gun. Were you shooting a gun?
No.
There was a time when you, I think it was described as you turned yourself in. At the time you were going down to the police station, did you believe you were going to be arrested?
No. I was the only one there who saw everything,
What did you believe?
I believed that I was going to be a witness to the fact that Zeus saved my life.
Your Honor, that concludes direct examination.
Cross-examination.
Now, Mr. Baker, all three of you are still together when you walk into Miss Nicholas's car.
Yes.
All right. And you get to the car, and she gets inside her car.
She makes it to her car, yes.
Okay. Where is Mr. Vega?
He was behind me when I was walking her over to her vehicle.
Okay. At some point, you said you make a statement to Mr. Vega. What did he do, if anything, in response to that statement?
What did he do?
Yeah, did he
When
do
I made the statement to him.
Did he do anything? Now, what he said, did he do anything?
No.
Okay. You're talking to Miss Nicholas, and at some point, does Mr. Vega leave the two of you?
I don't know. My back was turned.
And at some point, you turn around to
Yes.
go to your car?
Yes.
And where's Mr. Vega?
He is going towards his truck. He was running.
You see the man jump out with a gun, and you see smoke, and that's it?
Yes, I thought Zeus got hit.
What do you see that SUV do, the black SUV?
I see that black SUV drive and make a U-turn like they were coming back towards us.
Okay, do you see the body?
At
Down
that
on the
point,
ground?
yes. Once I saw the body, I looked back at the black Range Rover to see where they were, to see if I had enough time to get away.
All right, and you had enough time to get away, right?
Yes.
Okay, and did you see where Miss Nicholas, did she have enough time to get away also?
I didn't see.
Okay. And you see Zeus leaving in his vehicle also?
Yes.
And you never stick around to call 911 or talk to the police or anything. Is that a fair statement?
Not a fair statement, but that's what happened.
Thank you very much, sir. Please have a seat by your lawyer.
Good morning, Mr. Curtis. Do you know a man by the name of Jesus Vega?
Yes, I do. I've known Zeus for almost 10 years. We have a lot of things in common, both in the Marine Corps. We both speak Spanish, so we talk in Spanish and have a lot of things as far as food and culture like that, family things. In fact, I consider him my cousin.
Do you call all your friends cousins?
Nope, term of endearment.
Now, I want to direct your attention to July 23rd of '05. Did you talk to Mr. Vega earlier in the evening?
Yes, I did, because I wanted him to come and I wanted him to drive, because I was going to drink a lot,
Is there a reason you chose Mr. Vega to drive you?
because Zeus doesn't get drunk.
Ms. Adams?
Thank you, Anna. Did you know if Mr. Vega had a gun on that particular night?
No, I did not.
He never was going to show you a gun for you to potentially buy.
Objection, speculation.
Okay, do you want to rephrase just so that I'm clear that it's a personal knowledge question?
Were you ever going to view a gun and purchase it from Mr. Vega?
No, I don't remember that being said.
I pass on.
Now let's look again. My point is, I'm not so sure that Zeus saw them pull back in. Because he starts his trot at 2:55, and look at how long it takes them to get back into this lot. Watch this. 3:20, they come into the picture.
Window down.
3:24, they stop. 5.
At this distance, I can see the window down.
Now look at how long those lights are on. Boom.
He steps his foot touched the ground.
Zeus had plenty of time to get in his vehicle and get out of there. Without a doubt.
I took off because I was in fear for my life. For someone to tell me someone has a gun, there's only one reason for someone to have a gun. It's to use it.
So you weren't in fear until they actually pulled up on you. It went from being a possibility to a reality.
Correct.
And so the fear level that you have when it's a possibility can't possibly be what it is when it's a reality.
Exactly. It went even more. Like,
It went from apprehension to panic to terror.
So what, you just went back to arm yourself just in case they came back?
yes.
Well, they did come back. He made absolutely no moves toward harming those people.
No.
They came to him. It wasn't like you wanted it to happen. It wasn't like you knew for sure it was going to happen.
Right.
But as it turned out, it did happen.
Right. They proved that.
Okay. Now the question is, why did you wait? And I can think of only one reason why you would wait.
Well, would you leave your friend behind?
That's the only reason I can think of, because he could have got out of there.
Yeah, that's right.
Today is an emotional day. I feel very emotional right now. It might not sound like it, but I'm just, I'm scared as well. I'm speechless, man. I'm speechless right now, but I have a lot to say when I get on that stand.
How you doing? Good. You look sharp. I hope I am sharp today. I need to be. Yeah, I need to be.
Call your next witness.
Jesus Vega.
If you could face my clerk while you're still standing, raise your right hand and be sworn.
You do solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this action shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be seated. Please state your name and spell it for the record.
Jesus Vega, J-E-S-U-S, last name Vega, V-E-G-A.
Mr. Vega, did there come a time when you bought a handgun?
Yes, sir. I bought it in early March of 2005. It was a 357 Glock.
Tell me if that is the Glock. Model 33.
Yes, sir.
Did you register it in your name?
No, I did not.
Why not?
Didn't have time.
Well,
it wasn't a priority, to be honest with you. I was traveling a lot.
Did you ever fire that weapon before the 23rd of July, 2005?
Never.
Why'd you put it in the vehicle that night?
Because I was going to show it to Chris Curtis because I wanted to sell it to him.
After Brian said to you that he saw a gun in the Range Rover, what did you do?
I start, processing my thoughts, are we in danger? So I run to my car. My truck, I'm sorry, because I knew I had a gun, to protect myself. It's on the passenger side in the rear door. I open it. I go underneath the seat. I grab it. I put it on top of the back seat. I open it. I open the thing like this. I grab the gun. Can I do this?
I don't have a problem. Show us what you did. You don't necessarily...
I grabbed the gun. I grabbed the clip, which was this clip right here that had the rounds. I clip it, put a round in the chamber, and
now let me stop you there for just a second. As you are doing that, are you aware of where the Range Rover is?
No, I'm not. I do not know where the Range Rover is. Everything happens so fast. As I turn around, the Range Rover comes up, it comes and it brakes like really fast. And as it brakes, the guy's freaking jumping out of the car. And as he jumps out the car, I see a gun, so that's when I shoot.
Okay.
It was like instantaneous reaction.
I need you to try to do the best you can to control your language a little bit.
Sorry.
Okay. You're aware of the fact that we don't have a gun that was recovered from that car. So, what did you see?
I saw a gun.
I don't have anything further.
So, Mr. Vega, when the car first drove past you and Mr. Baker and Orly, you didn't see it?
I was not aware that the car was passing me by, no.
Okay. But you do remember hearing Mr. Baker say something to you. Your words were, "I see a gun, they showed me a gun." Those were his exact words?
He said, "Zeus, I saw a gun."
Okay, so it's "Zeus, I saw a gun" were his exact words?
Yes.
Okay, I'm asking. All I have to do is...
I said yes.
Yes or no?
It's okay.
Zeus, I saw a gun.
Yes.
That's what he said to you.
Correct.
And you didn't see the car?
Well, you have to determine when I didn't see the car. I don't understand your question.
I'm asking you, yes or no, you didn't see the car. He said, "Zeus, I saw a gun."
At what time? You have to be specific.
When he said, "Zeus, I saw a gun."
When?
How many times did he tell you he saw a gun?
No. You asked a question.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Mr. Vega.
I don't understand her question. Be specific.
Are you done? Do you want to ask me anything
Be a
else?
little
Or?
specific. That's all I'm asking.
I'm asking you, when he said, "Zeus, I saw a gun," do you understand what I'm asking you? At that time,
At that
did you see the car?
Passing me by, no.
Okay, let me ask you this. You know that the shooting happened on July 23rd, yes?
I was there. Yes, I do.
Okay, so the conversation you had with Mr. Curtis, was it that night before the shooting?
Well, when the shooting happened, obviously it was in the morning, so it was the night before.
Okay, but you said you didn't know what time, though.
Of course
right?
not. No, I just told you.
So how do you know it was the night before?
It's common sense.
Oh, okay. So you spoke to Mr. Curtis the night before midnight?
Don't remember.
All right. But it was the night before the shooting, correct? You don't know what time, but for sure, you're certain it was the night before the shooting?
Yes.
It wasn't some other night?
No.
When Brian Baker said, "I saw a gun," you started running, right?
Not at first.
Because you didn't see anything.
I did, actually.
What did you see?
I saw a Range Rover by the stoplight, which the light was green.
It wasn't moving?
No, it wasn't.
I was just sitting there?
Yeah.
And then, when do you feel that your life is in danger?
I wasn't about to take any chances.
So Brian said, "I saw a gun." Are you okay?
You didn't let me finish.
Well, it's because I'm asking you yes or no questions. You're kind of going a little beyond, so I just want to move this up. Don't take it personally.
I was processing my thoughts.
Okay. And so, when you're processing your thoughts, that's when you're like, "Oh, I happen to have a gun in my car, bullets and a magazine. Let me go run and get it."
No, that's not what I was thinking.
Well, you said you weren't scared. You said you were not afraid at that point, correct?
No, I didn't have no fear at that time.
At what point did you feel your life was in danger? Because I'm kind of confused.
I'm sorry. As soon as Brian said that he saw a gun.
When you said, "My life is in danger," is that the same thing as being afraid?
No, it's not actually.
It's not. Okay. Were you running because you were going to use your car for safety, or were you running because you had a gun in your car that you were going to get for safety?
I was running because Brian said he saw a gun, and I was running because I had a gun.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out, because you said that The gun was in your car, and earlier at the Wynn, you kind of had forgotten about it, is what you said.
No, I forgot to tell Chris about it. It was, you're twisting this.
Okay, so it's not that you forgot it was there, you just had forgot to mention it to Chris Curtis.
It wasn't a big thing to mention at the time. There was too many people around.
Okay. Did you ever think to yourself, maybe I should get in the driver's side?
Is this a yes or no? You're not going to let me answer?
That's the question, yes or no? Did you ever think that to yourself?
No, I did not.
And you picked up the gun, picked up the magazine, loaded it? Do you remember what you were thinking during those few moments?
Yeah, I was busting out in cold sweat. I was scared. As soon as I chambered it, I wanted to see if Brian was okay, and as I turned around, that's when the vehicle was like right there.
And did you see Brian when you turned around?
Like, it was a blur.
Well, what's the first thing you saw?
I saw the guy jump out of the car.
You saw the guy jump out of the car before you even saw the car?
Yeah, it scared me. Like, I jumped back, and then,
How did he jump out? Can you describe it? How did he jump out? Why do you keep looking over there?
because he's my attorney.
Okay, so what? Do you need to talk to him first before you describe that, or?
No, I was just looking. Is that wrong? Is that a sin?
Well, I've asked you a few questions, and you keep looking, so I'm just trying to understand what you're doing. Can you describe that, yes or no?
I'm a little scared, I'm sorry.
Don't be scared. That's not a trick question. It's just either you can describe it or not.
That's not what I'm saying. Go ahead, ask the question again.
Can you describe how he jumped out? I mean, to me, jumping is, I think of somebody like jumping out of a plane or something, or, you know.
Actually, well, then that's a perfect analogy.
Okay, and at that time, you were on the ground on your knees?
What? No.
No? Were you crouched down?
No.
You were standing tall. You're about 6 foot tall?
Yes.
And it was all a blur?
It happened fast, yes.
Okay. But you saw that he had a gun?
Yes, I did see that.
What color was the gun?
It was black.
That wasn't a blur?
No, that was not a blur.
That was clear to you?
I'm a United States Marine. I know what a weapon looks like.
So when you see a gun, you know you're seeing a gun. There's no question.
That's what I'm trained for. You know what? I wasn't really paying attention to if he was going to point it at me. I saw it. So I was in fear for my life. And I was firing at it to protect myself.
When you were in that parking lot driving away, did you ever notice a body laying on the ground?
No. I didn't see anything after that.
When you fired the shots, did you notice whether you hit anything?
Everything happened so fast.
That wasn't my question. Did you notice whether you hit anything when you fired those shots?
No.
Pass the witness.
Now, counsel asked you several questions that dealt with this. Why did you remain at the parking lot instead of jumping into that vehicle and driving out?
Well, being that I'm a United States Marine, you never leave your brothers behind. And Brian Baker is my brother, and I would never leave him behind.
Thank you, sir. Please have a seat by your lawyer. Does the defense have any other witnesses to present?
Not on behalf of Mr. Baker.
Nor on behalf of Mr. Vegas.
So the defense rests.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
You are admonished not to talk or converse among yourselves with anyone else on any subject connected with this trial. You're not to read, watch, or listen to any report or commentary on the trial by any person connected with this case or any
Pretty good, except for looking over here.
Newspaper, television, the internet,
Yeah, I
radio.
know. That's what I'm saying. He's lying about something.
He's been lying the whole time.
Well, I know. Was it obvious?
It was embarrassing.
Was it obvious he was lying?
Oh, please.
Oh, it was? Good.
We argued about everything.
Yeah. Okay, so take this and see. We need this guy to come and testify about
He didn't come off as being He might have come off as being feisty. He might have come off as being evasive even. Okay, but...
I don't want them thinking that we're upset about the person. Maybe they didn't know. No, it's not because he got the money. It's just because he just had it. Right.
I guess...
How did we do today? We had a good day today?
Yeah.
Today was outstanding. I think we had a good day. I agree. I'm trying to process.
Boy, Chris today.
You want to go murder or nothing, don't you? Yeah. You understand that if we lose, you're going to spend your life in prison.
I guess so. I guess the system sucks.
tried, Dom.
I know you did, and you came across truthful. You know, when you got somebody whose life is at stake that's up there testifying, and knowing that, you know, they make one false slip, they're going to be paying for it for a long, long time. Sometimes the emotions take over. It was a very emotional day. The jury saw. Juror number 12 was visibly upset and empathizing with you. In the beginning, they may have a lot of biases. By the time they listen to a case like this one, which is pretty heart-rending, okay? I mean, on both sides. By that time, I think they set their biases aside and they really do try to do the right thing.
Hey, it's Linda Lewis. Hey, we're going to be doing a closing today, and I have a PowerPoint presentation, and I wanted to see if you could come to the courtroom just to make sure everything's set up right and that the computer's hooked up right and everything like that. And
Have you worked anything else here, insurance?
I want to explain to you how the law and the facts, as we've heard in this particular case, intertwine together to show what charges were committed in this particular case. And the charges we're talking about are count 1, which is murder with use of a deadly weapon, and that is for the victim, Wei Lu. Count 2, attempt murder with use of a deadly weapon for the victim, Amir Mogadam. Count 3, attempt murder with use of a deadly weapon for the victim, Christian Wang Wui. Count 4 is discharging a firearm at or into a vehicle. And count 5 is conspiracy to commit murder. I submit to you, ladies and gentlemen, this is a case of murder, and it's a case of first-degree murder with use of a deadly weapon because Mr. Vega had time to go to his car, think about what he was going to do as a trained marksman in the Marines. He had time to set up and get his gun ready, and he fired those first shots before the car was even at 12 o'clock with him. He fired those shots as the car was coming. That's what the evidence shows you, and I submit to you that's the only verdict you can return. Thank you.
Well, Ms. Armini, thank you.
This isn't a case of whodunit. We already know that. This is a case of justifiable homicide, and the question for you to answer is, did Zeus Vega act in self-defense? Now, when making a decision of who the aggressor is, I think you have to look at the totality of the circumstances. I want to go through the 3 people that were in the Range Rover that day. Amir Mogadam, Wei Lu, and Christian Wang Wui. You heard their testimony. They were coming back, and they were going to box, and they had weapons in their car ready to go. That car sped down at 3 times the speed that it took to come up the first time. Brake lights go on. This was definitely an act of intimidation, an intent to scare these people. The Range Rover stops. Zeus is now boxed in. There is nowhere to go. He's boxed in between his car door and the vehicle. He's terrified. His heart's racing like it's never been racing before. He's vulnerable, and the fear of God is in him. And what does he do? He protects himself. Ladies and gentlemen, to the day Zeus Vega leaves this planet, there was a gun in that car. He didn't change it on the stand, and he's not going to change that, because in that moment, Brian Baker told him he had a gun. There was no reason to dispute Brian Baker. Brian Baker's not going to lie to him about it. There is an instruction that says that the danger doesn't have to be real. It just has to be apparent to that person. But what we do know was that there was a knife and there was a club. Why did they throw the knife away? Why? If they weren't doing anything wrong, why did they throw the knife away? Why were there no fingerprints found on that knife? This is not a first-degree murder case. This is not a second-degree murder case. This is a case of self-defense. Thank you.
Mr. Orm.
Look at the charges that they brought against an innocent witness. Who on earth thinks Brian Baker shot? Other than the state of Nevada, their expert at the preliminary hearing got up on the witness stand and testified under oath she could scientifically exclude Brian Baker's weapon. And a year later, in August of 2006, they file a document saying that that man is a shooter. Okay? I'm taking a reasonable human being. They're walking to the 7-Eleven or to the bank, and here comes man with shotgun. Now, wouldn't reasonable human beings say to other reasonable human being, I see a man with a shotgun? Well, don't do that. Because if the other person acts in self-defense and shoots, well, then you're a murderer, according to the state of Nevada. Although I have heard Mr. Vega's defense as self-defense, it is clear, and you look at those instructions, that they have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that he wasn't defending that man. And that's exactly what he did. He defended that man. He saved that man's life. Or he saved him from significant bodily injury. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this man should be found not guilty. He did nothing wrong, so find him not guilty and do justice.
That's the part that they don't tell you about when they're saying how simple it is to come back not guilty. They don't mention that part at all. They do not mention that Mr. Vega, supposedly in fear for his self and his friend, runs full run to his car. But Mr. Baker is like, I'm nonchalant, I'm laid back, because you know what? They're not in fear. There is no imminent fear. The car is out of sight for such a long period of time. Mr. Marine has his gun and misjudges this situation totally 100%. He should have gotten in his car and left. This is not, the military. This is the real world here, dealing with regular people and citizens. These people did nothing. Just because he had been on some medication and, they're at a strip joint and they're having alcohol, that means that they're less human than the rest of us? That means that it's okay for him to just take out his gun and shoot him? No, ladies and gentlemen, it does not. You have a victim here, Mr. Wei Lu. But does anybody say, hey, who's that on the ground? Hey, what happened? Hey, let's call 911. Come on, Mr. Marine, Mr. Uphold, Mr. Honesty, Mr. America. You decide that you can't even call the police regarding this situation because you did something wrong. You killed Wei Lu. And Mr. Vega wants to tell you this story about this gun. I'm going to attempt to sell it to Officer Curtis. His friend, a police officer, an unregistered firearm, you're going to attempt to sell him a gun at the club where he's drinking. That's the story that he tells you. Story, ladies and gentlemen. It's up to you to judge whether or not that's the truth. No, he carries that gun, he has that gun, and he killed Wei Lu with that gun, and it was not in any kind of self-defense because you knew there was no imminent harm here. None. Ladies and gentlemen, the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt murder of the first degree. This is not self-defense.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the 12 of you, 1 through 12, please follow Herman back to the deliberation room where you'll be brought the evidence, the instructions, and the verdict form forthwith.
What did they do to Danae? Like, I was with her over the lunch break. It wasn't much of a lunch break. I know she didn't smoke or drink anything. It just came out of nowhere. She was all over the place. Police! And you don't call the police? Who doesn't call the police? Somebody who's done something wrong. That's who. These two. Sorry. It was so funny.
If it comes in first or second, we're toast. And it's a real miscarriage of justice.
the jury, please. Counsel, will you stipulate to the presence of the jury?
Yes, Your Honor. Yes, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, have you reached a verdict? Yes. Could you please hand the verdict to my bailiff? The clerk will now read the verdict of the ladies and gentlemen of the jury, starting with Defendant Baker.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Brian Baker, as follows. Count 1, murder with use of a deadly weapon, not guilty. Count 2, attempt murder with use of a deadly weapon, not guilty. Count 3, conspiracy to commit murder, not guilty.
The clerk will now read the verdict of the ladies and gentlemen of the jury as to Mr. Vega's verdict.
We, the jury, find the defendant, Jose Vega, as follows. Count 1, murder with use of a deadly weapon, not guilty. Count 2, attempt murder with use of a deadly weapon, not guilty. Count 3, conspiracy to commit murder, not guilty. Dated this 21st day of December 2006. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are these your verdicts as read? So say you one, so say you all. Yes.
Yeah, I know. It is what it is.
That's our favorite saying.
It is what it is. This is one case of many.
What'd you say?
I said this is one case of many. It's not going to matter.
Is this your first one before?
No, I've been in trial for now.
I haven't.
The last time I was there, though, it was different lawyers. There weren't these high-paid, high-fluting, intimidating types.
This is better than sex because I can get more sex than acquittals.
Hey, darling.
Can you get sex more often?
I can get sex more often.
That's the man right there. Man right here. Do I get a hug or just get a handshake?
You got to take a picture of me hugging a cop. You got to.
I'm going to be getting off in a little bit. And,
we're going from here. We're going to the Palomino.
Okay. Zeus like?
Because of the smoke, right?
Yeah, because of smoke. I thought Zeus got hit.
And also, it's 5:40 in the morning. It's dawn and it's misty.
They're walking right in the middle. They move over a little. One of the defendants, a hand goes up. I'm assuming that's an FU or like a, hey, what the fuck, or something. I don't know if it's the bird or just the hand, like, hey, what's your problem? See, but there's definitely something. Yeah, they're going to their cars.
See, he's running there, though.
You think so?
Well, maybe. It looked like he was running, but maybe.
It's hard to tell because it's so far.
So they're out of the picture. Something's going on.
Yeah, see, they're here waiting for the light, is what we were told.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
see that? So now here they come back because they said they were called back. You can't see, of course. Okay, here you go. Yeah, you do see a car door open, but you don't know if it's the front or the back. And now
I assume that was the front door.
the body falls right from the car right away. I think first shots are here in the deceased body because the deceased has a shot in his leg. So what I think is happening is he's coming out of the car, he gets shot in the leg, that's the first shot. He falls immediately, gets a couple more in his rear.
Then that's when these go. Play it one more time. Keep that in mind.
Whenever anybody is watching a movie or a television show, usually they're going to put themselves in the place of the protagonist. Okay, and that's exactly what we want them to do here. For us to win this case, we need to make every one of those jurors put themselves in your shoes at that moment. We've identified some things that we're concerned about, that we want to know how the jury responds to these issues. And we listed them up here, the ones that we came up with this morning, okay, and you can see what they are. Is there anything else? I mean, we found, you know, handguns, obviously. What are people's attitudes about the use of handguns? Have they ever fired a handgun? If they own a handgun, why? If they don't own a handgun, why? Military and law enforcement, I think, are going to be real important. One, because of your background in the Marine Corps, but also everybody in the military and everybody in law enforcement carries a gun. How old were you when you joined the Marine Corps?
I was 20.
20?
I graduated in 19 out of high school. I waited a year. I had to wait a week because I wanted to go in the summertime. Then I moved to Las Vegas. I got into real estate, and I'm a successful businessman. But I grew up poor. Like, I mean, I go back to Cleveland, and it's like I see these small streets, and I live here, and it's like, wow, you know?
So, I don't know if we necessarily want to. We can say that we're.
No, what I'm saying is
we don't want
the jury.
Yeah, you do. Do you? No, we want to say no.
Listen to me,
Yeah,
bro.
of course.
We're going to
I'm
let
not
them
gonna look at us in a bad way, like, oh, so you guys.
Oh, no. That's not going to happen.
I want them to know we're
Dominic's going to say it
working.
right. They don't call themselves
You
successful.
don't call yourself
We
successful.
call ourselves
We
successful.
paint you out
That's what I'm
to
saying.
be what you are, which is successful.
No, I understand
Okay,
that.
yeah.
I understand. I'm not going to say that. That's why I'm letting you talk. Yeah, you call me successful.
Yeah, there you go. We do have a racial issue here. We have two racial issues here. There's going to be biases against Hispanics. There's going to be biases against blacks. And it's something that we have to deal with. Strip clubs. Strip clubs are an issue in this case. Clearly, everything happened at a strip club. We're going to have some people on the jury that think that strip clubs are nothing more than a brick and mortar hell. I want to know if they've ever been afraid. Now, anybody who says that they haven't been afraid is lying.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, but that's the essence of this case. We need to make every one of those jurors experience fear. Not that we're going to make them afraid. We need them to put themselves in your shoes at that moment.
Police are looking for 3 people, at least one of them caught on surveillance video, firing a barrage of bullets into a car and killing a man. Police marked off at least half a dozen rounds. The shooting killed a passenger and injured another man, both young Asian men. But the driver survived and is offering clues to this deadly shooting.
He is cooperating with us and assisting us in every way he can.
The Sapphire shooting is the latest in a long line of bar and club shootings. James Lozada, Channel 13, Action News.
Where's Brian? Zeus, where's Brian? Where? Oh, Banyo. Listen really carefully to this, because this is what your defense is about. It's the defendant Vega's position that when the Range Rover returned to the parking lot and drove toward the defendants in the manner in which it did, window down, high rate of speed, quick stop, weapons in view, a reasonable person in the defendant's position, considering the totality of the circumstances known to and believed by him, would believe that they were in danger of imminent death or great bodily harm.
We are saying that they were the aggressors. They placed us in a reasonable fear of great bodily harm or death. The state's position is going to be, I assume, that these guys were not the aggressors.
This is industrial, going, what, north, south, right?
This would be north. This would be north.
South, okay. Okay, terrible with directions. So when you got, and there's only one way in and out of this parking lot?
No, there's two.
This one?
This is the light.
This one.
And there's one down here. Okay.
This is the light.
So what happened is the Range Rover was going out. They're coming this way. Now our two defendants plus a girl are leaving Sapphire's. They're walking towards their car like this. They came this way, and we've got video surveillance of the parking lot, and they look to be more in the middle. I would put them dead center, to be quite honest.
They're basically in the way,
they're in the way of the Range Rover.
They're looking
okay?
for trouble.
And I don't know if they're looking for trouble, but they're in the way of the
car,
Range Rover.
clearly.
The defendants probably perceive it like this car's running us over, and the car perceives it like these people aren't moving out of our way. I think the words that were exchanged were like, "Get the fuck out of our way," or something along those lines. I might do that too. It annoys me when I'm driving down a lane and people don't get out of your way when they see a car coming. The Range Rover was going out, basically. So they're over here waiting for the light. There's a light here that you have to wait for. You can't just exit right away. They say one of the two defendants wave them back, like, come on back kind of thing. So they say they're coming back thinking they're going to go to a fist fight.
So they were calling them out, basically.
Basically. So they come back, and as they're coming back now, they roll up and they get shot. So let me ask you this. So somebody exchanges words with you, and you know that they're coming back in their car. You're going to go get your gun and get ready, even
You
though...
said I'm going to come kill you, I'm going to.
Okay, but we don't know that that was said.
Speaking outside the box.
Right.
If I think my life is threatened, based on training and where your gun is, you know, get your gun out. You're not going to stand up so your head can get shot.
Right.
Because you don't know what's going on. I'm going to tuck in so I don't get shot.
Right.
And be ready. I'm not going to stick myself out there to get hit. But
No, and that...
or you can come out
Right.
and stabilize yourself as well. And then try not to hurt your case, but I'm...
No,
You can hip shoot.
You're not-
If you're moving quick, you can hip shoot. I don't think it's hip shooting because that's pretty good shooting.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
we do have one that's trained, the Marine.
And that's the one who we think was the one doing the shooting.
Right.
But this is what I'm getting at. This is not hurting our case. In my opinion, this is helping our case, because this tells me
Well, I'm neutral
that you're
on
not defending yourself. This tells me that he's lying in wait. He knows the car's coming back. He's already ready to shoot. Like, he's crouched down, ready to shoot the car. Like, he's ready to shoot where you think people are sitting in a car, not at your length, not at your height, way up here, but you're ready to shoot down here. So he's getting cover and he's ready to shoot when they haven't even gotten there yet. Do you see what I'm saying?
Right.
I don't know if this guy was defending himself or not. It's not for us to decide. It's for the jury to decide ultimately. I don't think he was, based on the little bit that I know and based on what the witnesses have testified to. It doesn't seem that he was.
The essential difference between self-defense that makes you not guilty of anything and voluntary manslaughter, which makes you guilty of killing this person, although it does not amount to murder, is the question of whether you were afraid or whether you were provoked.
When I saw that weapon, I froze up.
Well, you saw the weapon on the way out. That's fine.
I wonder how they hit their gun.
But I know like I said, I froze up before, because even Zeus said, I look over at Zeus, and he said he looked at me, and I was like, when they drove and they turned around to come back, I'm already thinking that gun's still in there.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm thinking like they're about to open fire on us.
When they pull up, I mean, I'm like busting out in cold sweat.
But people who are provoked,
You know?
people who are provoked,
It's
and
90 degrees out there. How do you bust out in
people who
cold
are provoked
sweat?
and have rage go towards the problem. If you had rage, you would have ran at them. Exactly. If you're in fear, if fear is retreating, what you did. It was like, Papa, I'm looking at